What's up, guys? Welcome back to JodabeniTV. Today's another amazing day to get out there. We're gonna be better today than we were yesterday. And for today's video, we're gonna be looking at, should you sign a professional contract before going to college, or should you go to the NCAA and then go pro? So in both fields, you have your benefits and cons. There's a lot of players who today do go through the college system, and there's a few homegrown players who move from their academy teams straight to the professional world with their MLS teams. So if you were put in this position, maybe you haven't started a college program yet, or you're still in high school and you're wondering, which one should I do? Should I try and go pro first, maybe go to a different country, or should I stay in the United States and play at an NCAA school, D1, and get a contract and go from there? So I'm gonna divide this video between the pros and cons for each, and hopefully you find the best thing that suits you, and I hope you make the best decision. So the first thing we're gonna start off with the benefits of actually signing a pro contract without going to a university. And the very first benefit that there is pretty much right off the bat, you're gonna start making money. And a lot of players who go straight into college, even though they do get scholarships, they can't use that money to help build their family. And some kids, they may be one of the top kids in the whole nation, but their family may be really poor. Even if they have a full ride, they may not be able to help support their family till after they graduate and get a pro contract. And that's 4 years. 4 years, whereas if they would have signed pro, they could have been helping their parents put food on the table for their siblings and themselves. The second benefit of signing a pro contract early is, once everybody else is coming out of college after 4 years, you've already been in the professional world for the past 4 years. So maybe you've been playing with high-level players, and maybe now you've already moved up, maybe from USL to MLS, or even from MLS to Europe. You're already 4 years ahead of everybody that stayed behind to finish their degrees and go into the draft. The fourth benefit of actually signing a pro contract early is you don't have to worry about getting injured in college, because there's some players who are extremely well, they play really good games, but they tear the ACL in college and then that's it. They don't even get a chance to play in pro, and that's a really sucky thing to go through, and nobody really wants that. And another benefit is, after you finish your whole professional career, you can actually go back and finish school wherever you want, because now you may have the money you needed and you don't have to worry about getting loans in college when you go and do whatever degree you want. So one of the biggest cons comparing signing pro or going to college is, obviously you won't have a degree when you finish your soccer career. So not everybody has a 10-year soccer career, or 5-year, or 7-year. And sometimes those who sign pro, they may stay at the lower leagues for like their whole 5 years, and after they finish, they won't even have much money left over, and now they have to find a job. And those who went to college already have that secured in their pockets. So even if they do get injured, they have something to do. But professional players, if they get injured for good, let's say somebody broke their leg and they just want to quit soccer, they have no degree, so they can't immediately start working. And if they didn't make enough playing professionally, they have to go back to school. Maybe they're 28, 29. It's not a bad thing to go back to school, because everybody's timing is different. And as time progresses, some people may have kids and they need to start providing for them. And if they have to find a job immediately, then they may not get the chance to go back to school, which becomes a lot harder down the line. Another disadvantage of signing a pro contract early is you lose your NCAA eligibility. Like, I have some friends who, they train with us, they've played pro in other countries, but they want to play, they go to my university now, but they want to play, but they can't because they have that under their name. So pretty much, if you're gonna sign pro at an early age, make sure you're 100% committed, that you're going all the way, because once you sign any pro contract, even if it's a pro contract that's gonna give you $0, but you get to train with the pro team, you're never gonna be able to play on a D1 college again. So just be wise, and if you're gonna sign pro at a young age, be sure it's good promise. It's a promising degree. And pretty much the final con of signing a professional contract early is you don't know how long your contract is gonna be. You don't know how long you're gonna play pro. Different things happen in the world. Look at the coronavirus. There's some teams that had to cut players because they won't have the funding for them in the next coming season. And you don't wanna be one of those players that get cut and now you're waiting or looking. And some people, once they get cut, sometimes they don't even find a team again. And You don't want to be put in that scenario whenever you're like maybe 18 or 19. You get cut from a team and it's really hard for you to find a team for the next 3 years. But at the same time, you could have been playing at a Division I school somewhere in the States. So let's say you decide to go to your university. Let's say you say, you know what? Maybe I should go get my degree also and then go pro. What do you think of that? So here's the benefits of actually going to college and later on going and finding a professional contract. So the most obvious benefit of completing your NCAA eligibility and getting a degree is obviously you get a degree. Once you finish your soccer career and stuff, you don't actually have to go back to school and do all the studying, your tedious tasks when you're young. You don't want to be 35 and going back to university unless you do. But getting a degree before playing professional gives you just another security. Look at how COVID just hit the world and some players can't work. If you had another skill under your belt, maybe you could be making money on the side if you really needed it. And once you finish your soccer career, you retire, you have kids, you maybe have a wife you have to take care of, it's easy to make the switch. You have a bachelor's degree sitting with you, just smiling, saying, you ready to use me now? Just take it out and go find a job. And it's gonna be much easier because you're not competing against people who don't have degrees, but you're competing with others who have degrees. And if you have professional soccer player on your resume, that also helps in many companies because it shows discipline that a lot of people don't have. So you're out here pretty much killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Another benefit of actually going to a university is that you have 4 years to actually polish your skills. If you think you can play pro, but you don't think you're gonna get minutes, maybe taking 1 or 2 years into the actual NCAA to polish your skills, play against other Division I players and see, you know, that you're standing out, that you're stomping on players and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Because if you go play D1 and everybody's stomping on you and you're not even the best yet, you're gonna be hurt whenever you go to the professional world, and it's actually at a faster pace. So this way, at least if you're dominating on D1 players, you know whenever you make that transition, it's gonna be quick. And some of these teams will probably start you because you're squashing other Division I players who are supposed to be trying to get into the MLS also or USL team. So even though there's times where players get full ride scholarship, but their players get 0 money, there's also times where a player can get a professional contract, but they can be pretty much getting paid dirt money, meaning some of them may be getting $500 a month, which they really can't do much with. And housing may be ugly, living standards might not be the best, training facilities, you maybe don't even have health insurance on some of those teams. And it's not the very best thing if you're gonna sign a pro contract at a very bad environment. If you sign a Division I contract, maybe let's say Stanford or even UTRGV, they have great facilities. And if you're on a full ride, they feed you everything. You get an apartment. They may treat you way better than if you would have signed with some pro team who was in a really, really bad league. And it served you better because not only would you actually play with Division I players, you may come out with a degree also. And another benefit that may occur, it doesn't happen to everybody, but you know, maybe you can find somebody, you know, make them your wife or husband if you're a girl. You know, who knows? There's many kids on campus. You may find somebody who likes you and you might find your wife there. But if you don't go to college, it might be a little harder because you're always traveling, playing games, and after your soccer career is over, then maybe you may settle down with somebody. But if you go to college, you may find them before you even get into the professional world. Now, the negative side of actually going to a university are these things right here. The very first one is most athletes don't even get useful degrees. They just come here to play and then to try to go pro. But if they could sign pro early, I would tell them go because you're wasting your time. What's the point of going to university for 4 years to get a degree that you can't get jobs with in the first place? So you're pretty much just running in place and not moving forward. If you're gonna go to college, actually, you know, find a degree that actually you can put into use after you after your professional career. Because if you finish your professional career and then you come out with some sort of art degree that doesn't really help you, you're just gonna be looking at the wall telling everybody school's a scam, but you scammed yourself, to be honest. So pay attention to the little details, the job rate, and just look at the charts. How many jobs will there be whenever in the next 8 years, maybe 5 years, the estimations, just so you know, okay, what I'm doing is gonna pay off in the long term. Just like how you're training, you're planning for it to pay off when you play pro. Another negative side is something I experience all the time, is after training or maybe after a game, you're expected to go rest your mind and sleep, recover, roll out. But when you're in college, you don't get that. You come home, you shower, and you gotta open your textbook and study for the next class. While everybody else already studied maybe 4 hours ago while you were training and they're resting and sleeping. all snug in their bed. The last con is it's really hard to make money as an NCAA athlete because there's so many rules that everybody has to follow. Players can't even, you know, do certain things to make money. And there's even big time football, basketball players that schools are making millions off of their names, but they get zero of it. And some of their families are very poor and their family will never see it until their son or daughter signs pro. And if something happens to that child and they don't go pro, none of those millions goes to the family and that kid just goes back to where he started. And it's not a fair game. So that's one of the cons of going to, you know, a Division I school. But in the end, you look at these cons and benefits and just pay attention to the details and see what's right for you. Because if you're gonna go pro at a young age, go all the way. If you're gonna go pro and you're already 23 and you haven't started school, you have a choice to make. Do you wanna go to university for 4 years, get a degree? And I mean, if you're 23 already, you don't have much time of eligibility. So you wanna go for 2 years and then try to go pro, or just go to Europe or go to Mexico or try out for USL teams and try to go pro and see where it goes. But all in all, everybody's journey is different. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you guys in the next video. JodabeniTV is out.